We kick things off with our hero Kuroto in the middle of some shady acts with a girl named Shereai. She is keen to do some kind of ritual, but in order to understand this, we will first need to take a look at the flashback. We move to a classroom setting where all the boys are talking about Shereai, who is the new transfer student. She is quite cute, but the students don't like that she shares a class with Kuroto, who is called a cis-con. This is not some Alabama vibe, but Kuroto seems to be looking for his imaginary little sister, which makes him a bit delusional. Everyone thinks that our hero is doing this for attention, so they focus on Shereai instead. However, even the girls have not been able to speak with her till now. Now, Kuroto comments that Shereai is like the MVP of babes. She is good-looking, has a curvy body, studies well, and is also good at sports. It could be why she is not very approachable, but Kuroto is more interested in her because she has a similar hairstyle to his little sister's. Bro keeps talking about this sister of his, but then he notices that Shereai has peeked at him. Kuroto panics and looks away, but then he gets a letter thrown at him. Later, our hero goes to the library and finds Shereai there, waiting for him. She seems to know his name, and he's the first person she speaks to in this school. However, Kuroto asks her if this is some kind of transfer punishment game. He is saying this because the letter that Shereai gave him stated that he should come to the library if he wants to know the location of his sister. He accuses Shereai of teasing him, but she asks if he really came here to be teased. Kuroto says that he would not risk missing out on any clues for his sister, so Shereai asks if he is seriously looking for a little sister. He says that she disappeared in front of him, so it may make him sound crazy. There is no record of her either, so Shereai does admit it is hard to believe. Kuroto does not know why he is sharing this information with her, but then Shereai asks if he is always watching her in class. Kuroto says it's just the angle that makes it seem that way, but we know what kind of man he is. Even so, Shereai feels as if she is getting some intense stares from him. Our hero tries to defend his intrusive thoughts, but then Shereai does something totally out of pocket and asks if he would like to take a closer look. Kuroto asks her what she is doing, but she simply asks him if he has ever done anything naughty in school. Bro says no immediately, but then Shereai gets her freak on and says that she has finally found him. She proceeds to ask Kuroto if he likes this, but he knows it's better to keep his mouth shut for now. Shereai then states that it's not every day that Kuroto will get so lucky with a total babe like her. Kuroto is doing his best to control his hormones, but Shereai forces him to look at her, which is definitely an Uno reverse from usual situations. Kuroto now experiences visual cinema, but then Shereai says that something is wrong. He tells her that she is the one with the shady attitude, but then all of a sudden, everything goes dark. Kuroto has no idea what's going on, but Shereai does, as she says it's here. With that, the both of them are sucked into the darkness and get transported to another world. Kuroto looks around and tries to figure out where he is. Shereai seems to know it, as she calls it the unsatisfied gap. It's just like it was written in the book she's holding, but Kuroto is really confused right now. Shereai says that they have finally arrived, but she really needs to give us an explanation now. Kuroto does some thinking, and then he concludes that they have landed into another world. As he says this, a scary monster shows up from behind, and it seems to have its mouth on its stomach. Kuroto has no idea what this thing is supposed to be, but then it opens its mouth and reveals that it has some souls inside it. The monster goes on to take a bite of Kuroto, but Shereai pushes him away to save his life. She says that this is bad, but it's pretty obvious, so Kuroto asks her for more clarity. She says that she'll explain later, but they need to run for now. A chase scene follows, as the monster goes after the couple, and they manage to find some kind of room to hide in. The monster looks around for them, but Kuroto finds himself a bit too close to Shereai. She tells him to be quiet, but his heart pumps faster because he's basically sinking into her pillows. The monster seems to have left now, but Kuroto tells Shereai that she needs to dress herself properly. However, instead of making herself decent, Shereai asks our hero if he would like to see more. Bro does not understand why she is so keen to do this, but then she says that she is pranking him. She then says sorry to Kuroto for dragging him into this mess without even explaining anything to him. Now, Kuroto asks her to confirm if they have actually been transported to another world, just like the typical stories of comic guzzlers. Shereai says that this place is not big enough to be called another world, so perhaps it is another dimension. Kuroto is visibly clueless, so he asks if they can use magic here. Shereai says not at all, and it's mainly because of Kuroto, which once again renders him speechless. Shereai then states that she would have never imagined to find a Nesho in the class she transferred to. Once again, Kuroto has no idea what a Nesho is, but Shereai repeats that they are in the unsatisfied gap. We learn that it is a place that only appears when a person with the Nesho trait gets too excited thinking about unspeakable things. Our hero now realizes that he is the one who has triggered this place coming into existence. Kuroto says that this has never happened with him before, but Shereai says that he must have gotten excited when she started to show more than she should. This was the trigger for the place, and Shereai finds it entertaining that it's so easy to make boys feel flustered. Kuroto worries that he is now stuck with some female creep, but he also asks her if there is a way to get out of here. Shereai says that most of the information needed to survive here is written in the book she is holding. Kuroto asks Shereai what it is, and she says it's the reason she is alive. Kuroto asks for more clarity, and that's when Shereai reveals that she is here to retrieve some beads which are called Megatama. Kuroto asks her the purpose of this, but she says it is because of some personal grudge. Anyway, they need to find a way out of here, and the book says that they can leave through the altar in this space. Kuroto asks if they should trust the book, and Shereai says it should be fine. The Megatama may also be here, so she wishes to look for it. Our hero does not like that he is going along with whatever Shereai says, but he has no clue about anything in this space, so he has no other option. He then asks Shereai how she knew if he was a Nesho, as it may imply that she has done this with multiple other guys. Shereai gets offended by this and says that she is not like Bonnie Blue or Lily Phelps. Kuroto says it's a fair guess for him based on her behavior so far. Now, we learn something truly shocking, as Shereai says that she knew Kuroto was a Nesho because he remembers his sister who had disappeared. Of course, our hero wants to know more, but the tummy mouth monster appears once again. It attacks Shereai, and she manages to dodge it, but gets injured in the process. Kuroto tends to her, but things are looking really bad for the couple. Kuroto has no option left, so he picks up Shereai and tells her to hold on. It seems as if our hero is going to farm some aura by running like the Flash, but instantly trips and falls, which makes it a hilarious scene. Shereai calls him a weakling, and panics because the tummy mouth monster is closing in on them. She asks Kuroto if he is okay, but he says he would not leave her behind even if he wasn't. Shereai says they have no other option now, so she tells him to drop his trousers. Normally, a viewer would be shocked, but this is nothing new on Comic Guzzlers. The monster closes in, and so does Shereai, but her target is our hero's elephant. Kuroto asks her why she is doing something so shady during such a critical time, but she keeps her eyes on the prize. The monster is coming now, and from the looks of it, so will Kuroto. It's a really tense situation, but right before the monster reaches them, it stops completely because Shereai has unleashed the Tongue Twister 9000 on Kuroto. Bro is shocked beyond imagination, but Shereai can only think about how big this elephant is. Kuroto asks her to stop, but she calls this technique Zengi, which is needed to keep the monster away. Kuroto needs a lot more context than a simple name, but Shereai tells him to trust her for now. She then goes to town on his python, and soon enough, Kuroto can feel the elephant water coming out. In a surprise twist, Shereai tells him to control himself because if he gets post-nut clarity, then he will not have any desire, and that will allow the monster to attack him. Kuroto asks what he should do, so Shereai says that he needs to endure it until the monster goes away. This is easier said than done, but our hero must now fight the toughest fight he has ever faced in his life. He endures and survives long enough for the monster to start vanishing on its own, which is a good sign. Now, Shereai can stop with her technique, and Kuroto can breathe a sigh of relief. It was a close situation, but the important thing is that the monster is gone. Shereai says that it's exactly how it was written in the book, but Kuroto is now on high alert after such a tease. Shereai asks him if he is already missing her tongue twister, and then she teases him some more. Kuroto explains that it was his first time, so it's only normal for him to behave that way. Shereai does feel bad for leaving him high and dry, but then Kuroto wonders if she has done this before. Anyway, he asks what that monster was, so she reveals it is a Nenokami. It is known to mercilessly swallow anyone who enters the unsatisfied gap, so it's like a guardian. Kuroto asks what would happen if he got swallowed by the monster, and Shereai says that his entire existence would be erased from the world. It's as if he had never existed in the first place, and this actually sounds very similar to what happened with our hero's sister. The couple has reached the altar now, and Shereai can already see one of the Mega Tama beads. Shereai goes to collect it, but Kuroto asks her about what she said regarding him remembering his sister. That's when Shereai reveals that Nesho people are the ones who don't forget those swallowed by the Nenokami. All the dots now connect, and for further clarity we are taken to a flashback from 2 years ago. Kuroto comes out from a hall and is greeted by his little sister, who asks him how it went. He says he passed, and his sister is very happy for her Oni-san. Kuroto says they will have some fancy meat tonight to celebrate, which makes his sister hesitate, but he reassures her that he has saved enough money for that. Kuroto thanks his sister for supporting him, and it's a really sweet moment, but then a car suddenly appears and seems to crash into her. However, Kuroto's sister is nowhere to be seen, and even the car driver says that it was just him on the road. Now, we're back to the present where our hero says there is no evidence that his sister even existed, which is why he is called a siscon. However, Shereai tells him that he is not delusional, and she believes his story. After all, one should not dismiss their family so casually. Even so, she does call him a siscon because his obsession around finding her does warrant the term. Jokes aside, Kuroto realizes that his sister must have come to this world, but Shereai tells him that they need to get out of here rather than looking for his little sis. Bro actually says it before her, because she is hurt and they don't have any leads for his sister. Shereai teases him some more by saying he is quite a gentleman despite being a siscon. Kuroto tells her he is not some Alabama weirdo, which surprises Shereai. The sibling love, so she should get her mind out of the gutter. Now, Shereai tells our hero to get the Megatama and be done with this place, but he tells her to chill. Anyway, Shereai tries to take the Megatama from the altar, but it won't come off. There's nothing written about it either, so this whole exercise may have been pointless. Kuroto panics and asks Shereai if there is a spell or something they can chant, and luckily, they do find some instructions. It is the ritual for transference to another world, which is exactly what the couple needs. However, the ritual is basically a game of elephants and kitties. Shereai will have to be on top, but Kuroto can't believe she is being serious about this. They don't really have a choice now, so Shereai says they just have to get it done. She also teases our hero by asking if this is his first time, and somehow brings the siscon tag into it too. Shereai then asks if Kuroto doesn't want to do the ritual with her, but he says that is not the problem at all. He wants to know if Shereai is actually comfortable with all this. So she whispers into his ear that she is totally on board, as it's her first time too. Now, it's time to get things going, so the python gets to work. Our hero can't believe that he is actually experiencing this, that too with the popular girl. Shereai now moves those hips like Shakira, and bro can see everything as if it's divine revelation. She even tells Kuroto that he does not need to hold back this time, which means that he can unleash the pressure from before. Soon enough, Shereai works her magic, and our hero unleashes his elephant water. Even Shereai seems to have experienced an explosion, and this causes the Mega Tama bead to fall off. Just like that, both Kuroto and Shereai are back to the real world, inside a school toilet. Classes for the day are over, so the students are told to leave the school. The couple looks around to see if they are actually back, but then they realize what they have just done, so they look away from each other in shyness. Kuroto keeps telling himself that it was just a ritual, and then Shereai notices the Mega Tama bead on the floor. Kuroto asks her if it is to do with some personal grudge, to which she says yes. She wants to gather all the Mega Tama beads from the unsatisfied gap, because her goal is to destroy it. Kuroto is worried to hear this, because he might lose his sister if that happens. He asks Shereai if she knows how to get him back, but she says sorry because she tricked him with what she wrote in the letter. She has no idea how to bring back our hero's sister, so it's on him if he wants to help her or not. Having said that, this is the only lead he has for his sister, so Kuroto agrees to help Shereai on this mission. All of this is fine, but then Shereai tells him that he needs to control his hormones as he can't get excited unless she wants it to happen. However, this is a natural function for men of culture, so in most cases it can't be helped. Shereai knows the risks, so she tells our hero that she will manage it if it gets out of hand. Bro has no idea what she is referring to, but then she states that she will take care of his elephant every single day if that's what is needed to get the job done. Later, our hero tells her that he is more confident of getting his sister back, but he didn't imagine having to do unspeakable things with Shereai to be the way forward. He then has to keep his intrusive thoughts at bay, because he can't open up any portals just yet. Now, Shereai shows up and tells him to come with her because he is needed. The others start spreading rumors based on what they see, and there's another girl named Momoka, who seems to be interested in our hero. Her friends take her away, and then Kuroto asks Shereai what she meant by managing his excitement. Of course, shady intentions are not visible, so Shereai says that she will build up Kuroto's excitement in school so that they can enter the gap. But if they don't end up entering it, then she will help him release it after school. This is easily a perfect case of it should have been me, not him. Bro needs more clarity, but Shereai wants to try something at the same time. Shereai is reading from a naughty novel, which makes our hero wonder how shady she is. She even reads out the title and offers more such manga comics, but Kuroto knows the best place for that is Comic Guzzlers. Our hero tells Shereai not to read it in class because it will disappoint the other boys. She doesn't care, and it's not like Kuroto has any friends to reveal this information to, either. Anyway, now it's time to enter the unsatisfied gap, but our hero is not sure if they should do it in school. Shereai then reveals that the school is actually one of the coordinates from where they can enter the gap. There are 6 total destinations from where they can enter, but the school is the only one they know of. There are 2 Mega Tama beads in each location, so that makes a total of 12 beads. The best time to do it would be after school, but Shereai does not know where they will end up once they enter the gap. Kuroto senses someone nearby, so he goes to check on it. He worries that this suspicious person may also enter the gap, but Shereai says only special folks like themselves can enter such places. Even so, Bro does not want the problem of rumors, but Shereai wants to get things started. She asks how our hero's elephant wishes to be treated, but he says he'll just look at the shady manga comics. Shereai looks disappointed, but Bro activates Chad mode and says she should not have to push herself to do something when an easier solution is there. She says that she actually wants to do it, and even wishes to use an idea from the manga. She comes in close, and causes Kuroto to get nervous, after which she tells him to have his way with her. There are no restrictions, whether it's her pillows or her bottom. This is enough for Bro to awaken the beast within, and then the couple gets transported to the gap. They reach some different location, and Kuroto asks Shereai to get off him, now that they have reached. Shereai is disappointed because she was just getting to the good part, but this makes Bro worry how she will be during the ritual if this is how she is right now. Anyway, the ritual is a proper process, so the both of them will just have to trust each other on that. Having said that, Kuroto wonders if this is the same place as the one they came to before. Shereai says it could be the case, as the building is the same as the lost one they were in. Suddenly, her necklace starts to glow, and our hero points it out. It turns out that the necklace is actually the Mega Tama that she picked up from the last spot, so they decide to follow the direction in which it is pointing. After all, it's not like they have any other clues that they can follow. They have to collect another 11 of these megatamas, and Shereai says it will be tough. At the same time, she says they should also look out for clues regarding Kuroto's sister. Our hero is surprised that Shereai remembers this, but she teases him by saying he has no other reason to help her. She then says there is the obvious benefit of playing elephants and kitties with her, but Bro says it's more of a benefit for her rather than him. Shereai asks if he is not interested in her that way, but this is besides the point. Anyway, the couple has come across something rather unusual. A shady character appears, and it seems to be a Neno Kami, although it looks quite different from the previous one. It does not notice the couple, so it would be best for them to keep things that way. They consider going around the place, but the Megatama is actually pointing forward, so they will have to pass through here. Kuroto asks if they can really make it without getting noticed, but Shereai tells him they are simply going to chase it away. She intends to do it with a ritual, so we all know what is going to happen. Shereai asks Kuroto that he doesn't seem too interested in shady activities, so she questions whether he is a real man of culture. He says that is not the case because he only wishes to do such things with a girl he likes or is special to him. Shereai makes fun of him by saying he is so innocent, but he tells her to keep quiet. She mocks him some more by saying he hadn't popped his cherry for this reason, but he calls her out by saying it was the same as her. Now, Shereai looks at him cutely and says she does not dislike this quality about him, and it makes him conscious. Of course, this statement from our hero makes Shereai question his intentions towards his sister, as he does find her special, so it could be an Alabama-type relationship. However, Kuroto tells her not to talk about his sister in such a manner. It's time to do the ritual now, but since the couple does not know the range of the activity, they get as close to the Neno Kami as possible. Things get really tense as they get right in front of the monster, and then Shereai says they should get on with it. She urges Kuroto to hurry up, so he does what needs to be done. Shereai seems to have been waiting for this, so she unleashes the Tongue Twister 3000 on him. Bro does whatever he can to last through the process, but when Shereai looks up, she notices that the ritual is not working. She decides to upgrade her Tongue Twister to 9000 and goes to town on our hero. She seems to hit a weak spot, so Kuroto tells her not to go there, but she likes that she has this information now. She still says that Kuroto will need to endure this much, and then it's Hawk-Tua mode. This goes on for a while, and Kuroto asks Shereai to stop, but there are much bigger problems for the two of them. The Neno Kami closes in on them and attacks without any hesitation. The both of them are shocked to see this, because the monster is not reacting to the ritual at all. Neither of them has any clue on why the Neno Kami is oblivious to shady acts, but things are going to get really dangerous for them if they don't evade it. After a lot of chaos, Kuroto is taken to a side room by Shereai, and they are able to evade the ravaging beast. Kuroto asks if they were doing something wrong, but Shereai says it was the same as last time. She brings out the book again and says that the ritual is something similar to the game of elephants and kitties. The only thing that's different is that the monster has a lot of legs. Kuroto then uses his big brain energy and realizes that this one has way too many legs to walk, and the previous Neno Kami had a massive mouth. He has managed to connect the dots, so Shereai asks him what's up. He is a bit hesitant to say it out loud, but Shereai tells him they need a solution fast. Bro reveals that just how the method for the altar ritual is set, there must be a specific way to do the ritual for the Neno Kami too. Shereai is clueless, so our hero explains that they were able to drive away the giant mouth Neno Kami because Shereai used her mouth. This time they have a Leggy Neno Kami, which means that both of them will need to tap into their Quentin Tarantino energy. They need to do what needs to be done, but Kuroto is not sure of it. Shereai says they need to perform the ritual, plus she always wanted to try this method out as well. She does say sorry in advance, in case she messes up, but Kuroto tells her that's all right. With that, Shereai gets ready to give everyone at Comic Guzzlers the first instance of a babe using her foot. It's not as easy as it looks, because Kuroto gets hurt in the beginning. He soldiers on, and Shereai admits this is going to be tough. She uses some quick thinking to show our hero a little bonus footage, because none of this will work if he doesn't get excited. It does help, so Shereai teases Kuroto for enjoying this freak show. She thought it was just Tarantino, but clearly, Kuroto is also learning new things about himself. She then calls our hero a creep, but he says she is the last person who should be saying that. At this very moment, the Nenokami arrives and starts to move in on them. As luck would have it, the monster does stop because of the unspeakable acts these two are performing, which means that Kuroto was right. Shereai is pleased by this, so she increases the pace, although our hero is facing a hard time now, pun intended. She tells him not to give in just yet, but things are not looking good for Kuroto and his basketballs. He tries to tell Shereai to take it easy, but she's in a world of her own, as she tells him to continue bearing it. She wants to enjoy this a little more, but it takes a sick kind of individual to take joy in this. As it turns out, the extended time does work in their favor, and the monster is banished from all the shady activities. With that, Shereai stops with one of the weirdest things we have seen on this channel, and Kuroto can breathe a sigh of relief. Shereai tells him he did a good job, but he is not too pleased by how much she was enjoying herself, while he was fighting for dear life. Anyway, Shereai admits that she never thought the ritual for the Nenokami beasts and the rites were connected. Kuroto says they will need to come up with some strategies for these situations, and Shereai is looking forward to whatever comes next. Bro does not feel the same way, and he reminds her that they are still at the risk of getting erased. Shereai is aware of that, but she states that it's the thrill of doing such things that is making them determined. Kuroto does not agree, because when your life is on the line, it's hard to enjoy these activities. Now, Shereai notices the altar in front of them, which means that the Megatama stone was leading them here the whole time. All that's left to do is to perform the ritual and head back home. The couple takes a look at the content, and they hope it's not too intense. The instructions state that it's all about being missionary, which is not too hard, considering it's what most couples know. It's not that difficult, but this time, Kuroto will have to take the lead. So Shereai asks if he is up for the task. He says that he's understood the assignment, so there won't be a problem at all. Shereai says that if he falters, then she will do her best to move him, although that is just humiliating for a man of culture. Now, it's time to get down to business and move those hips like Shakira. Shereai invites Kuroto, and it makes him nervous, but he has to step up. After a bit of fooling around, they find the right spot and lock in. Our hero's python seems to be better than what Shereai had expected, as she gets overwhelmed by it. She tells Kuroto to move or else she will do it for him. He is still a bit awkward, so she wraps her legs around him and starts doing the work. Kuroto does not like that he is not the lead, so he tries to step it up a bit, and this does a lot of things for Shereai. He has finally become a man now, as he takes the lead properly and shows us that he is not a shy one. Shereai is completely taken by surprise, as she did not expect this at all. It becomes too enjoyable for her, and she is about to explode at the same time as Kuroto. The couple experiences some intense explosions, and this is enough to take them back to the real world. As the couple catches their breath, Shereai says that the experience was surprisingly good. Kuroto almost feels proud of himself as he asks her if she is saying the truth. However, Shereai also comments that for such a pure boy, he did seem pretty eager to take her. Kuroto blushes and says that she should keep quiet, but the important thing is that they were somehow able to get out of there without anyone noticing them. The Megatama stones have been collected too, so everything is as per the plan. However, someone is there with them, and it's a cute girl who asks what the couple is doing in such a compromised position. This is Momoka, who once again asks what these two are doing. Kuroto says that it's not what it looks like, but judging from Sherei's condition, there's no hiding now. Momo is super shocked, but she promises not to tell anyone about what she has just seen. She quickly leaves the scene, despite Kuroto asking her to wait. He laments that the fact that he and Shereai have been caught, so she asks if he knows her or worse, if she is his girlfriend. However, she quickly brushes that assumption aside because she says it's impossible. Bro is not in the mood for emotional damage, but Shereai says that a girl like Momo is way out of his league. He tells her to stop with the insults for now, but does acknowledge that Momo is quite different. After all, she has a lot of friends and is very popular. Shereai says that the two of them seem to be close as they were referring to each other by their first names. She wants to know more about their relationship, but Kuroto reveals that Momo is actually his cousin, which just makes him more of an Alabama suspect. Shereai is surprised to hear this, but mentions that they do seem close. Our hero says that they are in the same grade, but she is in the class next door. They had reconnected with each other after entering the academy, and they used to be close back in the day, but Kuroto is not so sure about the current state of things between them. Shereai says that with all the rumors going around of Kuroto being a cis-con, maybe his cousin would not want to get too close to him. Kuroto says that such lousy rumors would not push Momo away, but something had happened last year which drove a wedge between them. Shereai says that they still got seen, so this is bad news. Kuroto says that Momo did promise not to tell anyone, but Shereai has a look of panic on her face, because she knows that Momo will definitely reveal what she saw to someone. She can already see tomorrow's headline stating how a delusional cis-con boy attacked a beautiful transfer student. And since Kuroto is the male here, he's cooked. Even if he does manage to beat the allegations, the other guys are not going to spare him. He asks Shereai if she is not worried about herself, but she says that in such a situation, women don't have to worry about accountability. It makes our hero angry, but it's also the truth of modern society, so bro has to deal with it. Either way, some baseless rumors are definitely going to spread, but since Shereai now has a second Megatama stone, she is fine with making the narrative about them being a couple. Kuroto does not like having to use such methods, but if it's for his sister, he is ready to do anything. After all, things can't get worse than this at all. Shereai reminds him that the important thing is to focus on finding the next coordinates, so he gets thinking. We know that there are still 5 more locations besides this academy, but they are all unknown at this point. He asks Shereai if she has any leads, but she says no. She is hoping for the Megatama stones to guide them just like they did at the altar. She asks Kuroto to hold on to one of the stones, but he asks her why. She says that the stone could react when it's close to a coordinate, so it would be more efficient for the two of them to carry one each. Kuroto gets it, but Shereai still asks him not to lose or break it, as if he is a fool. Now we move to the next day, where all the students are tired after a busy day in class. In the middle of all this, Kuroto bumps into Momo, and it leads to an awkward pause. The other girls wonder who Momo is talking to, and they brush him off as the cis-con weirdo. They ask her to come with them, but she says that Kuroto wants to talk with her. The girls say that she does not need to bother with someone like Kuroto, but she tells them to go ahead. The girls lament how Momo has such a sweet soul, but anyway, she asks our hero what's up. He wants to apologize to her about yesterday, but this makes her flustered. She tells him not to worry as she has not told anyone about it. She does mention that even though it's in love, to play elephants and kitties in school is a bit questionable. Momo then asks if the girl she saw Kuroto with is Shereai, the new transfer student. She also says that she did not think Kuroto would start dating someone like Shereai so quickly. He's more surprising than she had thought, because Kuroto does not exude Giga Chad vibes. Of course, this is a perfectly normal reaction and assumption, but Kuroto clears the air by telling Momo that he is not dating Shereai. Naturally, this sounds out of pocket, and Momo can't believe it after what she saw. Kuroto does not know how to explain this, so he says it plainly that he and Shereai are still involved even though they are not dating. Momo is in shock, as this seems to be one of those friends with benefits type of cases. Kuroto tries to explain that it's not like that, although he really can't come up with anything else. Momo brushes it off and nervously giggles while saying the kids of today are really ahead of the curve. Of course, it's not like Kuroto can tell her about the unsatisfied gap, so he keeps his mouth shut. Once again, Momo asks if he is romantically involved with Shereai, to which he says it's not like that at all. Momo takes this opportunity and asks our hero if he would be fine to do such things with her as well. This is something that even the folks at Comic Guzzlers would have found to be strange, and Kuroto is at a loss for words. Momo now says that she was just playing a prank on him, but he tells her not to shock him like this. She still laughs because of how red his face has gotten, and she gives him a wink before taking off. Kuroto breathes a sigh of relief, but then Shereai shows up from behind and says that at least Momo is kind enough not to spread any rumors about them. Our hero says that Momo is still misunderstanding the situation, but Shereai says there is no room for that, as they actually did get down and dirty. He agrees with her, but something is still nagging him. Shereai says that he basically does not want his cousin to think of him as Diddy, and he somewhat agrees. Even though Momo is his cousin, she is the only relative he has left, so it bothers him if she misunderstands him. Shereai asks about his parents, but he says they've both been gone for a while. It was just him and his sister, but now even she is gone, so things are quite sad for Kuroto. Shereai says that he is just like her, but Kuroto does not get what she means. Anyway, she says that such situations cannot be avoided, and everything will be cleared out once Bro gets his sis back. Our hero agrees, but then Shereai asks him what Momo had asked that made him so flustered. She can see the excitement already, and says that he should not be so easy to entice. Kuroto does not know how he should control such feelings, so Shereai plays with him and says that she could run her hands all over him while making him endure it. There's also the option of doing naughty things all night long until he gets used to it. Kuroto tells Shereai not to push it, but she can sense his desires from a mile away. She says that with such easy excitement, he may need to train a bit harder. Our hero has had enough, so he grabs Shereai and pushes her back. Of course, he just had to grab her by the pillow, which makes the whole thing goofy. It seems to be shady enough to trigger another transportation, as the two of them find themselves inside yet another portal. It was at this very moment that Kuroto realized he messed up. Shereai taunts him by saying this happened with such a simple touch. The least he could have done was to endure this, but he says it was an accident, so he could not help it. None of this would have happened if Shereai didn't get too naughty, so she says sorry as she did not think Kuroto would be so weak. The disrespect is crazy, but Shereai says that they are probably just outside yesterday's building. She remembers the path so they can get out quickly. Kuroto says that Shereai is way too nonchalant, and it's when you're the most relaxed that you usually end up in danger. Anyway, they need to get out of here, but before they can do that, the couple hears someone screaming for help. To everyone's surprise, it's Momo, who is running away from the mouth Neno Kami. Shereai and Kuroto are both baffled, but they need to help Momo, so they call her towards them and then they lock themselves inside a house. Momo is tired, but she holds on to our hero because she was really scared back there. Shereai asks if she is okay, but the popular girl has no idea as to what's going on. Even Kuroto wants to know why she is here, and she says that she was on her way to the chemistry lab when all of a sudden, things became really dark. After that, she fell and the Neno Kami started chasing her without any reason. Kuroto asks Shereai how Momo got here, because apparently only special people are allowed in this zones. She wonders if this is because of what Momo saw yesterday, but Kuroto is not sure if that is the reason. Now, Momo asks what this place is supposed to be, so Kuroto explains that it is some kind of alternate dimension. Naturally, she gets shocked and asks if all of them are dead. Bro reminds her that they are not in a zombie school, and Shereai says that they will need to save the explanations for later. For now, they must focus on getting back home, and Momo is even more surprised that they can casually go back to the real world. Kuroto offers his hand, and even though she doesn't quite grasp the situation, Momo holds it and stands up. Our hero knows they must leave before his cousin is harmed, but there is also the risk of being seen while exiting. Momo says that as long as Kuroto is here, he will protect them, and she even gives a flirtatious face. She is really curious now, so she asks Kuroto and Shereai how they ended up in such a suspicious relationship. They are confused, but Momo asks if it could have something to do with the current situation. Our hero states that they really didn't have a choice but to do shady things to escape, which is all the more unbelievable to Momo. Bro says it may sound that way, but it's the truth. The cousin girl asks if they really needed to go that far, to which Kuroto says yes. Shereai says she is doing this for revenge, whereas Kuroto is doing it for his sister. Momo is shocked to learn that Kuroto is still going on and on about his sister, so she says that it's impossible because she has known him since they were kids. She even claims that our hero is seeing things because of the trauma of losing his parents. Shereai then tells her that she does not remember the sister because her existence was erased from her memories. After all, they are in another dimension, so that alone should be proof that anything is possible. Momo refuses to accept this, so she thinks that Shereai has hypnotized her. Shereai says that if that were the case, she did not need to do it to Momo, and even calls her a fool. The cousin girl asks Shereai what her purpose is regarding Kuroto, but she says once again that her objective is revenge. She jokingly adds that she is also after our hero's body, but he panics and asks her not to say such things. Momo calls Shereai a creep, but Kuroto says that this is not the time to be fighting. After all, the Nenokami has appeared, and they are in trouble. Momo refers to it as a black shadow, but that's like calling a tiger a house cat. There happens to be another mouth monster which has appeared, so Shereai takes Momo back in order to avoid her getting gobbled up. She then tells Kuroto that they will need to do what's needed to defeat the beasts. There really is no choice left for them, so Bro unbuckles his belt and says that since both of these are mouth Nenokamis, the technique to defeat them is known. Momo asks what the heck is going on here, but Shereai tells her to keep quiet and watch them go at it. This causes a funny scene as Momo asks if she really needs to watch this. So Kuroto tells her it's not necessary. Things are not looking good for the trio, as the Nenokami monsters close in on them, and Momo panics, so she stays close to Kuroto. Bro tries to comfort her, but he is getting comforted in his own way now, thanks to Sherei's tongue twister 9000. The monsters stop, and Momo can't comprehend what's happening here. Shereai tells her that what she is doing to Kuroto is actually a ritual which can be used to drive these things away. Of course, this is the most ridiculous thing a third person can hear, but she's also concerned by how Kuroto looks like he's in pain. He tells her that he just has to endure this for as long as possible, and he is ready to do it in order to protect Momo. This may sound heroic, but it sure doesn't look like it, as Bro continues to groan with the Nenokamis watching him. Momo has no other option but to stand and watch as her cousin gets violated by the transfer student. This goes on for a while, and Kuroto is able to keep it in control until both the monsters vanish from sight. Momo is shocked to see that they were actually able to drive the monsters away with their shady axe. But Shereai says that the Nenokamis escaped quite quickly this time. She asks Kuroto if he got extra excited because he knew his cousin was watching, but he obviously says no. Momo thanks Shereai for saving her earlier from the second monster, to which she says it's no big deal. Having said that, Momo still holds on to Shereai and asks her to stop doing such shady things with our hero. She thinks it's wrong to get your freak on with someone you don't like. But Shereai once again says that it is for the sake of reaching their goals. Momo tells Shereai that she should not try to drag Kuroto into her revenge fantasy, but she clarifies that she is not forcing him to do this. Our hero tells Momo that he is doing this because he has his own goals too, which she finds hard to believe. Once again, Kuroto tells her that his sister is real, and he is going to get her back, because that's the way of Chads. He will do whatever it takes to have his sister again, which touches Momo. Shereai says that they are almost at the altar, so they should continue this after they get done with the ritual and go back home. There is no Megatama stone here, so Kuroto wonders if it will be okay. But Shereai says that leaving won't be an issue. She learns that this is the missionary place, so they are going to repeat their previous acts once again. Momo doesn't understand, so Shereai tells her that they will need to perform in such a position to escape from here. Momo realizes that this is the ritual, and Kuroto instantly identifies her to be the one he had suspected of being an imposter in the washroom. Now, Momo asks if this ritual can be done with anyone, because if that is the case, then she wishes to be the one doing it. This has taken both Shereai and Kuroto by surprise, but the legends of comic guzzlers saw this coming. Shereai asks if she is being serious, to which Momo says that it's better than her having to watch. Shereai asks Momo why she wants to do this, because she was just talking about not doing things with people you don't like. However, Momo says that it's fine because she likes Kuroto. We finally have our Alabama moment, and we don't know if we should say that it should have been us, not him. Momo clarifies that this needs to be done in missionary, but Shereai asks her to wait. Momo tells her that she should not say anything because she is not dating Kuroto. With that, she pulls her cousin closer to her, and things are about to get really weird. Kuroto is not sure if he should be doing this, but Momo says it's fine because she wants her first time to be with someone she loves. This is not what our hero had expected to hear, but Momo asks him if he hates her. He says he could never feel that way about her, so she pulls him even closer and actually begs for it. With that, the unspeakable happens, with only Wayne from Gamer GA Isekai'd surpassing such acts as they were with his mommy. Momo sure seems to be loving it like McDonald's as she has finally connected with Kuroto. Normally, this would be a beautiful moment, but the fact that they're cousins even makes us uncomfortable. Shereai watches on, and it looks like she's enjoying the show. Momo calls out Kuroto's name again and again till she is about to explode. Kuroto is pretty much there as well, and eventually there are massive explosions on both sides. With that, everyone is back in class, and the lovers ask if they have made it. Shereai is there too, looking at the both of them, and then our hero decides to talk to Momo about her enthusiasm earlier. She says that she's being serious when she says that if Kuroto absolutely has to do such things, then she will help with it too. However, she only wants Kuroto to do these things with her and not Shereai. It's a clear case of jealousy, as Momo tells him to go out with her, not the exchange student. Now, before we move on to the next chapter, we see a short sketch where Shereai is mocking Kuroto for getting excited so easily. She says that even looking at the anatomy book could do the trick for him, but he says that she should not scold him. Shereai says she is only commenting based on what she is seeing, but Bro says that any guy going through puberty is the same. As a matter of fact, elephants can stand randomly in the middle of class too, for no reason at all. Shereai agrees that she has seen some of the guys lean awkwardly, so she calls all of them sick, although it's a bit harsh to say that. Now, we move to a sudden scene where Kuroto is telling Momo that what they are doing is bad. She says that it's fine because they are in a secretive place. Before we move further ahead, it's time for some context, so we go back to a flashback from a year ago. Momo bumps into Kuroto at school, and they have a chat about how they are in the same academy. Of course, the others have a field day with it because of Kuroto's reputation. He is visibly upset, but says nothing when Momo asks what's wrong. He eventually says that she should not bother getting involved with him, because the rumors will get to her. She jokes and asks if the others would think of them as accomplices, but Bro would rather not go into further detail. It has been a long time since they last saw each other, which was 5 years ago. Momo says that it used to be fun when the two of them would hang out, but Kuroto corrects her by saying it used to be the three of them. Momo gets scared and asks who this third person was, so Kuroto says it was his sister. Momo says that she does not want to talk about scary stuff, but our hero is disappointed that even she does not recall spending time with his sister. Momo can sense that something is off, because Kuroto is acting different. She apparently figures it out and says that Kuroto is going through a teenage phase where he thinks he has secret powers. He says no, but Momo jokes around some more, so he decides to leave. Momo says sorry because she did not think he would get so offended. Kuroto is not in the mood, so he asks Momo to stop talking to her, but she says that they could go back to the way things used to be. However, Kuroto is not in the right headspace, so he says out loud that Momo should stop talking to him. This startles everyone in the area, and they only think worse of him now. Momo apologizes once again, because she may have been acting a bit too familiar with him. The other students start to spread some more rumors about our hero, but he does not care, so he decides to leave the scene. This does affect Momo, but she can't really say anything to him now. Now we are back to the present day, and can see that it's raining. Kuroto feels like he should say sorry to Momo for the way he snapped at her back then. After the ritual he had with her, it's hard for him to refuse her proposal too. Shereai is there with him, as she was hearing the story between Momo and Kuroto. She asks how things had been since then, but Kuroto says that they didn't really speak after that until now. Shereai asks Bro if he is going to date his cousin, but he says no, because he does not want to risk taking her back to such a dangerous place. Shereai teases him because of the shady things that already happened, so our hero admits that he did get a bit carried away. Shereai says that he is a man of culture, so it would have been impossible to say no at such a crucial time. She does not know about helping, so she would like to ask about dating. Kuroto says that he is not good enough for his cousin, as she will be able to find someone a lot better than him. Shereai says that's such a waste because he can say it all he wants, but to give it as a reason to someone who has confessed to him would imply that he's telling Momo she does not know how to choose her men. It's sort of insulting to girls, but Kuroto states that he has been nothing but a burden to Momo. There's just way too much guilt that's weighing on him, and Shereai makes it worse by calling him all kinds of names. It's a bit extra in terms of humiliation, but then Shereai also says that these things should not matter if he likes someone. Before she can get an answer, Kuroto says he has to go the other way, but then Shereai says that she has something she wishes to discuss with him. She asks if he would like to come over to her place, and the face she makes says it all. Bro says yes, but is surprised to see that her place is a shrine. He asks her about it, but she does not seem to have much information on it either. She only recently learned about the place, and she takes Kuroto inside. Shereai takes our hero to the library, so he asks her if she is going to give him some kind of shady novel. She says no, and states that they should be looking for clues that point towards his sister. This is big news for Kuroto because he now believes that something could be here. Of course, Shereai has already gone through most of the books, but could not find anything about bringing a person back, or even anything about the unsatisfied gap. Kuroto is confused, because Shereai does have that notebook, but she reveals that it is actually a keepsake from her mother. At this point, Kuroto is like Jon Snow, so he asks her about the details. Shereai states that the book was the reason she found out about this shrine being her family home. Our hero asks her why she brought him here, but she says it would be better if he saw it himself. Kuroto says that he trusts Shereai, so she did not have go through so much trouble, but she says that it is important for them to build their relationship further. Also, books are heavy, so she was hoping for Kuroto to flex his muscles a bit. After some joking around, the couple heads to the main library, and Kuroto points out that they are all regular books. It's possible that the shrine destroyed all the important books before they died. Now, if we're talking about building trust, it's important to know about Sherei's revenge story, so Kuroto asks her about it. She says that she lives her alone, as her mother passed away a year ago. She does not know about her father or anyone else, so it was just her and Mom. Apparently, the mother had left her family when she got pregnant with Shereai, so Kuroto asks if the family did not want her to inherit the shrine. Shereai says that the real reason was that her mom wanted to protect her from the unsatisfied gap. This is news to Kuroto, as Shereai reveals that her family members can enter the gap on their own. They have guarded it for generations, so her mom did not want her to get trapped in that inheritance. But it was because of this that she had no one else to rely on and had to do it like a solo mission. She worked herself to death because of this, so now Kuroto can understand why Shereai wants revenge. She says that she wanted to get back at the family estate, but when she got here, all of them had passed away. This did not settle anything for her, as the family left without her knowing what her involvement was. Shereai does not know how she is going to live with such unfulfilled feelings, but Kuroto calmly says that she wants to destroy the gap. However, it does sound like she's lashing out, to which Shereai agrees. This is the only thing left for her to destroy, and she is going to fulfill it no matter what. As a matter of fact, she only lives here so that she can remember her hatred towards them, because she can't accept that the family lived comfortably here until they met their end. Shereai looks far from an angel right now, so Kuroto is a bit concerned. She then says that her mother used to live here as well, and that's the gist of it. She hands over some books to Kuroto, but they're quite heavy for him to manage. He is happy that he has learned something about Shereai, even though he did not expect it to be just lashing out. Shereai tells him that he should not worry about her revenge and should just focus on getting his sister back. Kuroto is fine with that, but they still have not found any useful books. Our hero suggests taking a break, and then Shereai teases him for being in a girl's room for the first time. He says he's been in a few before, but that only means Momo. Kuroto takes a look at all the books in Sherei's room, and they all happen to be shady. There are some other books too, but Shereai says they belong to her mom. It's supposed to be her mother's old room, and a lot was left behind. She even says that it would be creepy if her mother could return at any time. Kuroto admits that it must be tough to search through so much stuff and not find anything. Shereai is upset that they don't have the coordinates to the next place, but she comes up with an idea. She suggests doing something naughty here, which Bro was not expecting at all. Shereai explains that her family has passed down the knowledge of the unsatisfied gap, so it would not be a stretch to consider the shrine as a coordinate as well. Kuroto asks if it would be hard to live in such a place, but Shereai says it's worth a try. Also, over here no one can see them, so they can do anything they want. Naturally, Kuroto gets nervous, as Shereai gets a bit too comfortable around him. He says this much is fine, but she is not satisfied with that. The shady acts continue, and we can also see that the Kamatama stone is glowing. Our hero goes for the pillows, but Shereai tells him to do more. Things are getting too hot to handle, so Kuroto tells Shereai this is ridiculous. He ends up banging his head against the book stand, and it causes a lot of books to fall off. Kuroto gets hurt, and it totally ruins the mood, so he says this was a bit too intense for him. He comments on how the bookshelf is poorly put together, but Shereai says it's fixed in its place and can't move. As our hero takes a look, he realizes something is up when he notices an odd spot. He asks Shereai about it, but she says it's just a groove. However, Kuroto says that the back part looks like it can be pushed, so he does exactly that. He takes the notebook from Shereai and uses it to push the groove, after which a clicking sound is heard. Suddenly, the bookshelf opens up to reveal a path downstairs. This is so strange, but Shereai asks Kuroto to go downstairs and check it out. He is a bit surprised, but she says that the boys are supposed to be doing these things. Kuroto asks Shereai if she is fine with this, because it may have something to do with her mother. Shereai tells him to go ahead first, and she will follow after him. With that said, the couple begins their descent into this new place, but Shereai is not completely dressed yet. So when she slips from the ladder, her cake is smashed into our hero's face. She asks if he is fine, but after a sniff like that, he won't be having any problems for a while. Now, the two of them find themselves inside what looks like an abandoned room. Shereai can't believe that something like this was under her nose the whole time, as there are lots of papers and notes lying around. To everyone's surprise, there are drawings of the Nenokami as well, which means we have a strong discovery on our hands. There's a lot to take in, and Shereai wonders if there is any information relating to the new coordinates. From what can be seen on one of the papers, we can say that the Megatama's guidance is what the couple will need to rely on. Now, Kuroto finds another note that seems to talk about some kind of priestesses, but the drawings are very unclear. The text is faded too, so they'd probably need a scientist to figure it out. Our hero wonders if all the stuff really just belonged to Sherei's mother, but she feels perhaps there were other people involved too. A lot of the writing is old, with some of the letters looking like they are decades old, or even 100 years old. Of course, if Sherei's family has been managing the unsatisfied gap for so long, it's possible. One of the scrolls looks really ancient, but it looks like the duo has found the jackpot. It's the ritual of return for lost beings, which means that Kuroto actually has a chance to bring back his sister. Shereai and our hero can't believe that they have actually found it here, and our hero is relieved to have finally gotten some respite. However, upon opening the scroll, there is some bad news. The note is torn off with all the instructions missing. What the text roughly translates to is that they need to find the boundary castle and lower the Megatama offerings to the ground. There is also talk about gathering all the Megatama stones, but that's where the note is cut off. The couple now looks for the continuation of the torn scroll, but they don't have much luck. This sucks because just when a solution was there, it happens to be incomplete. Kuroto is still happy, because he at least knows that there is a way to get his sister back. He thanks Shereai for her support, and this makes her blush. She says that it's not that they could find this place because of her, so Kuroto also deserves credit. They do have a goal now, which is to collect all the Megatama stones. Kuroto is glad that their goals align, which means that they can still work together. Shereai says she will do some research, so they should call it a day for now. Our hero laments that despite all the progress, they still don't know the coordinates to the next location. Shereai says that the Megatama will guide them, as mentioned in the text. She takes a look at the one she's wearing, and notices that it's turning white. Kuroto takes a look at his, and the same thing is happening. Judging from what she has learned so far, Shereai assumes that they may have to make them completely white in order to move on to the next step. Kuroto asks if it will change as they wait, but Shereai says there wasn't any change when she checked in the morning. Our hero tries to scrub it, but heat doesn't do anything to the stone. Time passes by, but there is still no change, so Kuroto figures he and Shereai will need to do something to make the stones white. Now Momo shows up and greets her cousin, although things do get a bit awkward. Kuroto is still thinking about the apology he needs to give from a year ago, but before that, Momo has something to ask him. She wants to know if he has come to a decision on what she offered him earlier. Our hero has, and he bows his head down to apologize to Momo, as he cannot be in a relationship right now. Momo is a bit startled, but Kuroto knows that he can't drag her into this mess any further. Once again, Bro says sorry because they have already done it, but Momo reassures him that she was the one who initiated it. Anyway, Bro said as of now, which means there is still a chance for them to get involved later on. Kuroto is surprised, so he asks Momo why she cares so much about him, especially after he snapped at her last year. She says that his actions did hurt her deeply, so he finally apologizes for his behavior. He was desperate back then, but what really hurt Momo was that he avoided her since that moment. We see a cute montage of it, and then Momo says that ignoring her was definitely the wrong decision. Bro agrees and says sorry once again for it. Momo repeats that being ignored by someone you have liked for so long is really hurtful, but Kuroto had no idea she liked him for so long. He asks her since when she has had such thoughts for him, so she actually has to think about it. She asks if he remembers the time he got injured, but Kuroto has been injured multiple times. She says there was that one time when things got really bad, as they were looking for a lost child. Kuroto can't remember this, but Momo reminds him that he had taken a really bad fall then, but he still didn't give up and kept looking. They eventually found the kid, and Kuroto even gave her a piggyback ride back home. His mom was tending to his wounds, and he was secretly crying in pain, so Momo has some fun by teasing him about it. However, this memory strikes our hero strongly, so he asks Momo if she knows who the lost kid was. Momo starts to think about who it could be, and she can now remember that she always used to play with her. However, she is not sure if she ever had a friend like that. After a little more thinking, she finally realizes something important. Her memories seem to be coming back, but she can't believe she forgot such important details. That's when we learn that the memory she is talking about is when Kuroto searched the mountain for his lost sister, and after she cried herself to sleep, he carried her back home. If this child did exist, then Momo comes to the realization that she was indeed Kuroto's sister. Momo apologizes to him immediately for doubting his words this whole time, but our hero is just glad that someone else has remembered his sister. Even so, Momo had said that Kuroto's sister was just an illusion, which is almost evil to say. People called our hero crazy because of it, and even Momo had distanced herself from him in order to not get involved. She curses herself for being this way, but Kuroto tries to calm her down by saying he was the mean one for avoiding her when she tried to talk to him normally. The others in the area start making up some more rumors, so no matter what he does, it looks like Kuroto is cooked. Now, Momo asks him for his sister's name because if she remembers it, then some more memories can come back. However, our hero can't seem to say her name, so Momo asks if he can't remember it. Bro says that he does remember it, but whenever he tries to say it out loud, no sound comes from his mouth. This could be because her existence has gotten erased, but Kuroto wants to try something, so he says her name. However, Momo doesn't hear anything, so it's the same as usual. He reveals that he has tried other ways too, like writing it down on paper, but whenever he does that, his hand stops moving. Momo can't believe that he is not able to say his own sister's name, so she asks if there is anything she can do to help. Kuroto is just glad that she remembers his sister, which is a good thing for him. He then reveals that he does not want to take his cousin to that dangerous place again, which is why he does not want to date her. Momo is not one to back down, so she demands Kuroto to take her back to the unsatisfied gap, as she wants to help him find his sister. Kuroto says that he does not want Momo to go to such dangerous places, but she says that she does not want him to go either. There's also the fact that if she does not go, then Bro will just play elephants and kitties with Shereai. He says that it's part of the ritual, so Momo says she will go with him, as she does not want Shereai to take him away from her. Our hero tells her once again that this is not the kind of place to go to for such things, but she says that she is being serious. Momo asks what will it take for him to take her along, but Bro does not answer. Momo figures she may need to do the ritual with him to trigger the transport, so she holds Kuroto's hand and takes him away. She is sure that she is serious, but Kuroto tells her that they need to do these things in the right coordinates, otherwise it will be for nothing. However, Momo shows off her pillows and says that she can at least do this much for him. Kuroto tries to calm himself down, as they are away from the academy. It's unlikely that they will end up in the unsatisfied gap, but that is not the point. Momo knows that she just needs to make Kuroto feel good, but he tries to stop her. It's a bit too late for that, as she has now come into contact with his python. It's time for some tongue twister action, so we are back to the earlier colored panels. She is really gonna town on Kuroto, so she asks if she is making him feel good. Bro would be lying if he said no, but Momo wants to try harder and make it even more intense. The cousin girl is pulling out all her tricks as she goes Hawk-Tuah mode, and Kuroto says this is bad because he can't hold it any longer. She encourages him to let it all out, and you'd wonder if even Bonnie Blue or Lily Phelps talk like this. Our hero unleashes all his elephant water into her mouth, and she gulps it down like a soft beverage. Kuroto can't believe that Momo just swallowed, but she asks if she was not supposed to do that. It's no problem to Kuroto obviously, but if they have reached the end of the ritual, it means that there is no coordinate here. He also tells Momo that she should not make him explode when the situation is real, because that would mean the end for them. Momo laughs it off, but also asks her lover boy if he now understands how serious she is about helping him. He does get that she wants to help, but he wants to keep her safe. With such innocent eyes looking at him, it's hard for him to say no, although Momo is definitely far from innocent. Momo has a bright expression on her face, but Kuroto says that he will still need to talk to Shereai about it. He checks the time and realizes that they are about to be late for class. Momo feels she may have stretched it too long, but the both of them make it somehow. At the academy, Kuroto thinks about how he should explain the Momo situation to Shereai, but then she arrives and asks him why he is late today. He says that he was just meeting with Momo, so Shereai asks if he turned her down properly. He says yes, but also says that Momo is feeling strange about her memories with him. Shereai asks if this means she doesn't think of him as a creep, but then he says it is to do with his sister. Shereai says that it could be an effect of entering the unsatisfied gap, and then she asks if anything else happened. This causes our hero to act suspicious, especially when Shereai asks if something strange happened. She then mentions that in the morning, her Megatama started glowing and gradually became whiter. However, after some time, the white part faded away and it's black again, just how Disney likes it. Something has to be triggering it, and Shereai can only recall trying to seduce our hero when the Megatama stones became white back then. She feels something similar may have happened today, so she asks once again if Kuroto did anything with Momio. The stones would do really well for wives suspecting their husbands of cheating, because bro straight up confesses the truth. Shereai is quite angry, so Kuroto says that he was not the one who initiated it. Shereai is not surprised by that, because she knows that he does not have the guts for it. But now, she does understand something important. By keeping his intrusive thoughts at bay, the Megatama stones turn white. When the desires are released, they go back to being black. Basically, since the stones respond to shady intentions, Kuroto cannot release anything unless Shereai gives him permission to do so. This is like some dominatrix-level punishment, so Kuroto asks why he should require Sherei's permission. She says it's because she is the one performing the ritual, plus she did tell him right from the start that she would be managing his desires. Before he can say anything further, our hero notices Momo approaching him and Shereai. She needs to talk to the exchange student, so she asks what's up. Momo says that despite what she said earlier, she also wants to go to the unsatisfied gap. This is why she wants the couple to take her along. Shereai thinks for a bit and says yes, which surprises both Momo and Kuroto. Shereai says it's better this way because if Momo is somehow close to the coordinates, it would be better if the three of them would be together. Momo and Kuroto are glad to hear this, but then Shereai says that she will be the one performing the ritual. Momo is just supposed to be the audience, but this makes her upset. She says that the ritual is the whole reason she is coming in the first place, but Shereai says it should not be a problem, considering she is not dating Kuroto. She says that Shereai is not dating our Riz boy either, but she says it's fine because she does not have a problem with the nature of their relationship. The girls are fighting over Kuroto, so now we can safely be jealous of him, because the cousin thing has become redundant at this point. Now, both Momo and Shereai are fine to do naughty things with their lover boy, even if they are not dating him. They stare angrily at each other, so Kuroto tells them both that they need to chill. He was worried that his excitement over a cat fight would have landed them in the unsatisfied gap again. But now the girls ask him to decide with whom he wishes to perform the ritual from now on. Momo says it has to be her because she loves Kuroto way more than Shereai. The exchange girl says that her body matches his better than his cousin, and she has more knowledge too. She feels she is better for the rituals, but bro is shocked that he needs to choose one of them. He can't ignore how much Momo has done for him and how she feels about him. At the same time, Sherei's knowledge will be crucial for their upcoming missions. He eventually says both girls, but Momo tells him that she wanted him to choose one. Shereai is fine with this because she has found another way to decide it. Basically, whoever can turn the Megatama stones white the most will win, so this has now turned into a proper battle of the kitties. This does sound like fun. And then we are introduced to yet another character who looks like a total babe. How is this competition going to turn out for Kuroto and the girls? Who is this new babe? Will she also join our hero's harem? And will he actually be able to save his sister from the unsatisfied gap? There's tons to know, but we have come to the end of this video for now. Like, share, and subscribe if this story is a nice change from the regular stuff you see on Comic Guzzlers. Show this video some love, and I'll make sure to cover all the remaining chapters too. This manga is still getting updated on the go, so there's a lot more to see regarding Kuroto and his journey. Okay then, I'll see you in the next one.